Hi.
Oh my God, we're back.
We're back again. Got more hexas than the Vatican.
Ooh. Hello, everyone. My name is, first off, it's been a while. Oh my God, I can't remember how to say it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hot Mess Moments. I'm waiting for it. You say it all the time.
But I'm dying laughing because you were like, it's been a while. I'm like, it's been a week.
I feel like it's been a while. We haven't recorded in over a week.
That's true. We recorded the Nanny pretty early last week. But yes, so hot. Such a mess. Such a moment.
My name is Dylan Zahner, also known as 8-Bit Dylan, and Lost is my favorite show, but I've never seen The Nanny.
And I'm Beth Dixon, also known as Augusta Wind 11. And my favorite show of all time is The Nanny. I love it so much, but I've never seen Lost before. And so we decided to come together, show each other our two favorite shows, and then afterwards record a silly ass podcast about it. And can I just say, I want to do a shout out to someone who just recently discovered our podcast, and I had a wonderful Twitter exchange.
Yes.
And I know it's probably going to be a while until they get to our like where we're at right now, but this goes to I apologize if I mispronounce this, but Zach or Zakay Minuski. I don't know if I said that correctly, but thank you so much. Apparently they love The Nanny. It's their all-time favorite show, and they're like rewatching it, and they're also a big fan of Lost. And so they found our podcast and they're watching it with their spouse. And so they're like going by episode and watching it. And so they're in the middle of season 1. It's so exciting.
Hell yeah. It's going to be great too, I think, once they get to season 2, because that's when we start breaking up the episodes by show. And so it's a lot easier for people to consume. And, I got time to watch like one episode of this and I can check that out. But it's so glad to be back. We apologize that we did not post a Lost episode last week. We've just been so busy. Y'all, let me tell you.
Tell me, Dylan.
The level of overworking that I put myself through.
Yeah, please. Because specifically, what was it, Wednesday last week?
There's just too much.
In addition to the other stuff.
I have work that I do. I do a lot of like special projects that I'm a part of. So one thing is I've been putting together this like Sims Big Brother series for YouTube, which has been a lot of work. And we did all of our cast interviews this weekend. And just Saturday alone, I had 6 hours of meetings. And this is not like a job. This is just something I'm doing in my free time. I have never felt more burnt out than I have this weekend. But it's been great because I'm glad that the hard part is over in terms of figuring out like who the cast could potentially be for this thing. And now it's the fun part where it's like you actually film the thing and then you do the post-production, which could take a while. But oh my God.
I should have asked. I mean, you could have absolutely said no to this. I love casting things. I wanted to be a casting director. So in the future, if you do this again, I would be happy to do casting with you.
For sure. It was really fun too, because like Josh.com, who is shout out to Josh.com, my co-producer for the show. They did a great job of really honing in and finding exactly what we were looking for each of these cast members. So I think that this cast is going to be stellar that we come up with. Great. And I can't wait to see when everyone else can like check out the show. But it has been so much work. So I do apologize if we're ever like behind on episodes, y'all, but we're putting stuff out there.
I mean, here's the thing. And I hope that people at home understand this too. Like, put it into full context. Dylan and I both have 40-hour plus week jobs.
Yes.
In addition to, Dylan streams a lot, I podcast a lot. And then we're finding these other things like I'm finally, now that COVID has calmed down a lot in New York City, like I'm trying to go out and have a social life. And so sometimes this podcast is really what we do for fun. We're not sitting here making money off of it. It's a way for the two of us to hang out and be stupid on a podcast together and talk about two of our favorite shows. Like, so at the end of the day, like this is kind of like yeah, we have to find time and we put the time, the effort to watch the shows and then record and such. And that does take time. But at the end of the day, like, even if I'm having a week where I'm like, oh, I got to record, the moment that we start recording, I'm like, okay, this is fun.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I
same.
mean? So that's the whole point of our show, is to hopefully you all find it as much fun as we do, as like a silly expression at the end of the day. But weren't you also with cornbread this past week?
I did. Yes. I got to hang out with cornbread, which was fun. I also got to check out the Grove. So for those who don't know, I live in St. Louis, and I really have not gotten a chance to like explore St. Louis that much, especially the gay part of St. Louis. And so shout out to Brittany and Chris and all the friends that I met. I went to Cornbread show and it was amazing. And I randomly met this group of friends, mainly Brittany, this really kick-ass lesbian who we just vibed so well. And I had let Brittany know, I was like, hey, I've never gone to the Grove before. And she's like, oh my God, after this show, the show's ending really early. There's another drag performance happening at this other bar. And so I texted Nigel and I was like, weird thought. Would you be okay if I just like went to a bar tonight? Like, I know like I'm supposed to be, like I completely forgot that we were supposed to film. And so I was just like, do you mind if I go to this bar? And he's like, yeah, I don't give a shit if you go to a bar. And I was like, cool. I never get a chance to like go out and like socialize with people because Nigel, for context, my husband does not like bars and stuff like that. So it's not like his vibe. And so it's very rare for me to like go out to a bar. So I go to this bar and they're there and we have a fucking blast. We have a few drinks. We watch some drag. They literally walk me around the Grove area, which is so much fun. And then we go and get sandwiches at this really nice sandwich place. And then we parted ways and that was that. And I was like, oh my God, I just met some like really cool people just randomly at this cornbread show.
Like either phone numbers or something like that. So you're going to hang out again, hopefully?
Yeah. So hopefully if they ever go out again, they'll let me know. And if I'm free, I'll join up with them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'm in this weird point where I have a whole bunch of friends. But I don't have friends that necessarily like all hang out together. It's like a whole bunch of individuals or couples and that kind of thing. So now that, COVID is not as bad, and I'll tell you what, I like New York City, which is always, every time I've been here, well, for the entirety of the time I've been here is what I mean to say, like everybody's been pretty militant about masks and such. And then when it got really bad in the fall and the winter, people were wearing masks all the time outside in the streets. Because even Dylan can talk about like when you guys were here, not everybody was wearing them on the streets, but everybody was wearing them on like public transportation or, indoors. I'm starting to see people not wear masks indoors now, which is really like, I feel like New York City is like the last place to like not wear masks. You know what I mean? So it's just a really interesting thing. But regardless, I'm trying to figure out a way I haven't really gone to drag at all. And I want to, but it's so weird to kind of just go by yourself. So hearing your story though kind of makes it
fun.
Like maybe I'll do that. And one of the things I'm thinking about is I saw that there are tickets available for Trixie and Katya's show, which I didn't think there were for a long time. And now I looked and there are quite a few. So I asked a few friends if they wanted to go, and I haven't gotten any positive responses yet. So I think I'm probably just going to go anyway and just go hang out.
You definitely should go. The Trixie and Katya performance is also great.
That's like a theater.
It's actually a seated show. So it is, if you don't like being near people or at bars, it's like a great avenue for that. But I highly recommend going to a drag show alone.
I want to go to a drag bar, like a proper, like support local queens kind of show. God, I'm in Brooklyn. Like how many, like,
there's all over.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the other thing too. I should just text Jeremy and be like, where are the good bars to go to?
Yes, Jeremy would hit you up. Yes, Jeremy would know all the good places to go to. But highly recommend going to a drag performance by yourself. You're going to get entertained. Get yourself a drink and just sit in a corner and say, yes, bitch, every time someone does something cool. And then you know what? You don't have to stick around. You don't have to like go do anything. You just go home if you want. Or you can stick around and like
before. I've done it before. I did it when I was in San Francisco multiple times. I went to Oasis a few times just by myself and like vibed. They did a D&D drag show night that
That's so San
Erica
Francisco.
Clash was a part of, and it was so good. It was so good.
Yes, Erica Clash. Shout out to Erica Clash. Knows how to put on a damn good show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, especially like Erica Clash knows how to turn out a very unique look that is like no one else is doing, and then make sure that there's a theme to it, which is always great,
so
like
cool.
a nerdy, geeky theme.
That week, like within a week and a half, I was in San Francisco and went to Oasis and saw that show, which was a lot of fun. And then the next weekend, I went to the Salt City drag battle at in Syracuse. So Syracuse, New York, is called the Salt City because there's salt mines and such there. Where Kasha Davis and Darian Lake, who are like the hometown queens, were hosting this huge drag pageant, and so that was cool. And so I got to see. Westwood's her last name, but I can't remember what her first name is, and that's such a sad. But she should be cast on Dragula or RuPaul's Drag Race anytime. I know that she's made it to finals multiple times, so I'm looking forward to seeing her. And it's Wednesday Westwood, that's her name.
Wednesday. Oh yeah, I've heard of Wednesday.
She's amazing. She's a Syracuse Rochester queen, so but she's amazing. So she won that, and that was great. And then the next night the next day, I had to get up early and drive all the way to Hartford, Connecticut to where I picked up my friend in Albany on the way there. And we saw the Haters roast there. So like I saw like all these different kinds of drag within like 1 week. It was so great. And I'm like, that's the kind of life I want to get back into.
You're like, yeah, I need more of that in my life.
But I also just kind of feel like when I moved to, now that I've moved here to Brooklyn, like I feel like I could find like my group here, like that could be like, where I do similar to what you just had. So that should be fun.
You should definitely do that. And and even if I never see Brittany again or that group, it was a great night. And it was good memories. But let's get into these episodes because I might have some controversial opinions.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear them as per usual.
Yes. So it's time for us to get into The Nanny Season 3, Episodes 5 and 6, Val's Apartment, and Shopaholic.
She was there. That's how she became the nanny.
Okay, so these episodes are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I like season 3 of The Nanny. And here's why. I love the character moments.
Yeah.
Something about the humor is just not landing for me.
Okay.
So Val's Apartment, I thought that was a great episode. I'm going to give my ratings right now.
Okay.
Val's Apartment, I would probably give an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really funny episode.
Solid.
Shopaholic, probably one of my least favorite episodes of The Nanny.
Okay.
Would probably give it a 2 out of 10.
Wow.
And I really didn't like it. And here's why. I am really sick of Fran being portrayed as an idiot. I don't really enjoy it. I find it's a very jarring shift in their character. We can talk about that more when we cover Shopaholic. There is some semblance of that in Val's Apartment, but it's not as bad. And I really loved the humor in Val's Apartment. I think Val is a great character. I think these are some of the best episodes of comebacks for Cece. And the kids actually had some great moments as well in these episodes.
They're pretty prevalent in both of the episodes. Yeah. They're not just used as props.
Yeah. I think like it has all of the makings to be a great episode. And for both episodes, that's all the makings. Just something about season 3 feels more like a sitcom to me, and I keep getting taken out of it. Something about, I think it might have been Val's Apartment or Shopaholic. The laugh track from the audience is so loud now.
Okay. I have to say, it's a completely different experience now that I'm wearing earbuds. When I'm not wearing headphones for this, I have never noticed the dude who was laughing in Val's Apartment It was distracting. I've never heard that before in my life. So I completely agree with you, to the point where I'm actually thinking, because we're muted when we watch the shows, I think I'm literally just going to like listen on my computer next time, because it really, like, this really does take me out of it.
Yeah,
I
it's like
completely agree.
It's like, it's not like awful, but it's like always reminding me, oh, this is on stage and
Yeah.
there's a live audience watching. And
Yeah.
I think like in the last few seasons, the storyline carried itself, and it even though you know it's a sitcom, it doesn't feel like a sitcom. It's like, oh, I love these characters and I love seeing the situations that they're in. Specifically Val's apartment, though, I'll get into that. I actually really liked this episode. I thought it was really good. I liked seeing Fran try to tackle with, should I get my own apartment? Should I do my own thing? I loved that Val was in this, because we need more moments to see Val and Fran's relationship and their friendship. And at the end of it, we learn that Fran is a shitty friend because Val needed a roommate. And then Fran just said, I'm good. I just fucking left Val in this apartment she can't afford. So that sucks for Val. But I think overall, an 8 out of 10 episode. I had some good laughs. I actually felt like the episode got better the further into it got, which I feel like is the opposite in season 3. Typically, I am like, or no, that is par for the course. Usually, I don't like the beginning.
Yeah.
Normally, I don't like the beginnings. It's the second episode where I actually liked the beginning, and I fucking hated the middle and the end.
Yeah.
But for Val's apartment, what I really appreciate is seeing these characters actually feel like they are in their third season.
Yeah.
So Charles Shaughnessy, the way that he's playing Maxwell is so fucking brilliant, because this does not feel like the same Maxwell we have gotten for the last 2 seasons. This feels like a Maxwell that has gotten used to the antics of Fran.
Yep.
He is trying to be a better father to his children. He has a bit more rapport with Niles, even though they've known each other for years. Like being in this situation with Fran in the household, I feel like they've got like this like bro-ship that I really like. I like seeing more of that. And I just really fucking love it. And I like seeing more of this side of Maxwell. I also really fucking like seeing the kids this way.
Yeah.
Even though Gracie is still fucking annoying in these episodes, it's not anywhere near as annoying as it was in the first season, because she's grown. She's like much more secure in herself.
She's annoying now. Before she was unintentionally annoying, and now the whole joke is like when she's whining, you know, like that kind of thing.
I'm curious though, what are your thoughts rewatching this?
Okay, so I like season 3. I like season 4. I think for the most part, I really, on the whole, don't really like season 1. Season 2 is okay. Yeah. I feel like we really hit the stride of the comedy that I like for these shows in 3 and 4. And 5. I used to be obsessed with season 6. And now that I've watched it a lot, and especially in a binging capacity, I don't like it as much. Now doesn't like, but I still, it's my favorite show. I'm going to watch all seasons, any episode, any given time, except
that's like me with Lost.
Yeah. Like, and believe me, I know that we skipped out on episodes 3 and 4 for Lost, and y'all gonna get some low ratings from me on that one. So, I mean, we're definitely hitting this like season 3 different vibe kind of feel, which I think is natural for any kind of show. You had your pilot season where you're trying to figure things out. Season 2, things settle and you're figuring out what's working. But season 3, you're like, now we got to raise the stakes in some capacity, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that here. Now, what I do think both of these episodes, and I'm curious on your thoughts. Last week, we had talked about the episodes where one episode followed this like, oh, it's the same plot all the way through and there's like no side plot. And the other one was really awful with different kinds of side plots. Both of these episodes, are nice because it's just the same plot. Yeah. But it shows you that doesn't necessarily make it a great episode at the end of the day. I also, and granted, we'll get to this with the Shopaholic episode. I think just generally speaking, that just hasn't aged well as a whole theme when you're talking about addiction. And like, I don't think that they're punching down with addiction, but it's certainly not in a way that's like, I don't know, like helpful.
I think like for me,
uncomfortable.
I mean, we can like ping pong between the episodes, but like for me, what really drives me up a wall is I'm okay with like fanatic or fantastical situations that aren't aren't normal for these characters. I'm really, really sick of making Fran look like a fucking idiot. And like she has never showcased any kind of shopaholic addiction in any of these episodes prior. She likes to shop, but it's never been to the point of an addiction. And it's like really weird for me to like believe that she's been sent over the edge and now has this like terrible addiction where she's like shaking and shivering. She has to go to AA meetings. And I'm like, what? This is weird. Like, this is just a weird writing choice. I feel like if they wanted to go down this route, there's a much better way that they could have done it.
Agreed. Or they could have casually like shown her getting more. And here's the thing. I completely agree with you. But then I always in the back of my head will always think it's a 90s sitcom.
Yes.
It's not that deep. Versus the way that they would tie things in on like Modern Family now would take like episodes sometimes where it comes out, or even sitcoms that are like I know you're not a big fan, but like Big Bang Theory would do that where like it would like, I'm sorry. It was a trigger. I'm so sorry. But like the sitcoms in the later 2000s and like the early 2010s kind of learned from like the 90s sitcoms where it's just like, this is just the situation for this one episode that might be completely unbelievable and then we're never going to mention it again. Now I will say it is, and it's hard for me now because we've gotten to the point where we're almost halfway through the series and I can't remember what has been said and what is to come and that kind of thing. But Fran's shopping is definitely a part of her character. It's not to this extent, but like there will definitely be other times where it's clear that she's lying on credit card applications or she's, shopping and that kind of thing. So it's not unbelievable that it gets to this point, but the way that they write it was very like you said, it kind of comes out of left field to a certain extent. Also hard to believe that none of her credit cards would have like flagged all the purchases and such.
That doesn't bother me as much, but it's just like
the shaking thing. That's where I feel like I know like some of the jokes were actually, I thought were like really smart when they were like comparing it to addiction.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Addiction is a real thing.
Yes.
But
like the receipt was funny. I was like,
was funny. That was great. And like, the whole him questioning her in her bedroom, did you start as a teenager? Like those kind of things.
Yeah,
that's funny
that
too.
was funny.
But I don't like the shaking thing that I'm not going to make it because that to me almost felt like punching down on addicts to a certain extent. And so I definitely see that. I do think what I like about this, I don't think that they're portraying her as dumb. I think that they're just portraying her as unaware of her surroundings. And there are definitely going to be episodes where she does come off as dumb. And like what they basically will do to balance her out is if they want Fran to be smart, they put her in comparison to Val or maybe her mother or maybe Yetta. That's when they make her the smart person in the room.
Yes.
When they want her to be dumb, they put her with all the blue bloods. And that is what I think, or not blue bloods. Isn't that working class?
Blue collars.
Blue collars working class.
Or
Blue bloods. Yeah, blue bloods. That's where you have like I've always thought that was weird. Why call it
weird.
Blue bloods? I'm going to look this up just to make sure I'm right. I've always thought the blue bloods was such a weird thing.
I just think it's a bit strange. I don't know, just something about it. I do feel like it is making her character dumb. because before in seasons 1 and 2, it was focused on like we're getting a little bit more physical comedy, the funny situations that she's in. There's this like class disparity, and that's where a lot of this humor is coming from. Now it's always Fran is the butt of the joke, and Fran is the butt of the joke not because she is this girl from Queens, but instead she's the butt of the joke because she's so stupid and she just doesn't get it, and she's just like doesn't understand her surroundings, and she's just like so quirky and fucking weird, and I'm just like, ugh. Like
I agree to a certain extent, but then I also say that like she's still like, here's the thing, we haven't had an episode except for Maggie's Sweet 16 where she's working with the kids and that makes her the smarter person, or like imparting the knowledge that she is wise on, which is like street smarts, fashion, and those kind of things. So what we're seeing right now are like these kind of episodes where it's more about her struggles, right? So the first is, I think both of these are really plot in terms of the entire series driven episodes, because what we're starting to see is her trying to find her own agency within this family with Val's apartment.
Yeah.
And then with Shopaholics, you're seeing her really feel like, oh, wow, I've just been casually dating, or I've been putting so much of my life in this family, to the part that it's manifesting itself in an unhealthy addiction, right? When something that she hears is like completely changing her whole, you know, like that.
So I have another issue with that.
Okay.
In Shopaholic. So I agree. Loved that trajectory in this episode. It was the only thing that was really carrying me.
Yeah.
And then they have this stupid fucking thing at the end where she loses her fucking memory. And so, I'm like, oh my God, we're finally getting character development. We're getting character growth. She's understanding what she needs as a woman, and that like she's got all this agency. This is great. And then they're like, but we need to keep the mystery alive in the show. So we're going to have her just like forget all of that. And I'm like, okay, so not only did I like not really enjoy this episode, but now like all the character development in this episode was only at Maxwell's benefit, not for Fran's. It is interesting to see now that Maxwell has kissed Fran in like a more loving kind of way and less of a, oh, this happened, ooh, to see how he acts going forward. But again, it always comes down to Fran's expense. And I'm like kind of over it because we're only like 6 episodes into season 3. And I want to say like 3 of them have been Fran just being dumb. And I know that that's kind of Fran's character. And I think that we've seen episodes where Fran is dumb, but it's written well. And it doesn't, like, none of the jokes are all coming from the fact that, oh, Fran is so stupid or doesn't really get it. It's like, Fran is just so New York. And that's what I like. I like when it goes that route where it's like Fran's upbringing and Fran's family. And like, Fran is street smart. She's not like from the ritzy, like upper class.
Right.
And we're getting less and less of that. I feel like we're getting a lot of the Jewish, which is great. Mm-hmm. We're getting less of the New York, which I'm kind of missing.
Yes and no, because the inherent Jewish nature that she's bringing is specifically Jewish New Yorker. And so that's what I think is interesting too, right? So it's a shift. I regret to inform you that this is the direction they will continue to take her character, but I do think they balance it out a lot better in other episodes. But this is where they're really trying to hammer home the comedy of, you know, what she knows and what she doesn't. And so like the things that she thinks like are like super good references for things nobody else either gets or appreciates or thinks is like low class and that kind of thing. And so there are going to be lots of episodes where she's fucking up. This is the season where it turns into I Love Lucy.
Yes.
Lucille Ball's character was not smart.
Yeah.
this is what they're doing with her character, is they're moving her into this physical comedian. Have you noticed like how many more times this season, and this is the move, I call this the Fran. She has done this in every episode at one point. For those that are only on audio, I apologize, but she goes like this all the time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Gonna,
Like, oh, don't hit me.
Mr. Sheffield's going to hurt me. Oh, like that.
Yeah.
That is going to happen. I guarantee once per episode from here on out, right? We didn't barely ever see that in season 1 and 2, but we're starting to see them play around with her character. And I do think it's at the expense of some of her intellect. I do agree. In the same way that they're going to change a little bit of Niles. And Niles is going to be a little different. He doesn't get smart by any means, but he gets much more animated, and we're starting to see that. We saw it with like the open mouth, gapped mouth when like Cece goes and takes the cup of coffee into Maxwell after he just dumped.
Loved that scene.
Like you know, just little things like that are building up. And the season 6 Niles is nowhere near the season 1 Niles. Like there are night and day differences. Maxwell, like you said, is growing. I think is so much more likable in these other seasons.
Oh my God, yes.
And Cece, I don't think really changes ever, to be perfectly honest. The only thing that changes with her is, like you said, like they give her comebacks and that kind of thing, which is much more fun. Like in terms of like how she acts as a character, like that's pretty consistent because like Lauren Lane nailed it, and so did the writers. So
yeah, that scene with Cece getting back at Niles, I've been waiting 3 seasons for it, and bitch, we finally fucking got it, and it was so good, and I knew it was coming too because the look on her face, I was like, ooh, she's got something brewing, and I'm not talking about the coffee, and I was here for it. I loved it.
So good. I love watching Cece and Niles. Like anybody on YouTube could look up Cece and Niles, and they'll do like all the season 1 stuff, then all the season 2 interactions, and then you get to season 3 and it's a back and forth. It's not just like Cece getting put down all the time. So now we're seeing the fruit of that labor that Cece, or Lauren Lane, I mean, was like really campaigning for, which is a lot of fun. This is I've never really liked Shopaholic. I think it's a solid episode. I wouldn't give it a 2, but I understand why you would. I only appreciate it for what it's telling me about Fran's character. Excuse me, about how she feels about Danny and how she feels about, you know, other people getting married and moving on. Especially with the episode before that, we have like her mother being so overbearing about her going out with a doctor, right? And we've already gotten this. So season 3 is really the season that we explore this like desperate need to find a husband in Fran's eyes. That has not been the thing before. Now we're seeing Fran needs to date. Like this is the theme from like, this is a big driving part of her character, especially because her family wants her to marry somebody wealthy or somebody who has a successful professional career. Like those are the things that she's going after. So that will lead to comedy. And also, I think, you know, I think it settles down and it is funny, but I completely respect those that don't appreciate it as well.
Yeah. And it's not like The Nanny is a terrible show.
No.
I did not connect with Shopaholic. I just felt like they made a lot of writing blunders. I did not like the fact that a lot of the character development for Fran was kind of swept under the rug by the end of it. And I also, I don't know. Something wasn't clicking. Like I did not like Shopaholic so much. It is probably outside of that terrible side episode and that really annoying season 1 episode with Gracie is probably my second least favorite episode of The Nanny.
Wow. That's solid. I mean,
I don't know why. Something didn't resonate, which is funny because like I really enjoyed Val's apartment. It was probably like one of my better episodes of season 3. I thought it was really good. And I think my love of the episode would have been a lot better had they not had that ending with Fran, because then I would have been like, oh, this was worth watching because we got to see that like awesome character development of Fran realizing like she doesn't need to worry about Danny and like this other past relationship of hers and all that jazz. And I think we still get a little bit of that, but the payoff for me is to see the characters develop with each other. And so for her to just forget it, I'm like, oh, we're going back to what we've had for the last 3 seasons of like, will they, won't they kind of thing.
It's also a really uncomfortable thing because it makes you think, like, obviously he didn't take advantage of her, but it makes you kind of question that whole thing of like, well, she didn't remember that. Is he going to tell her? He's not going to tell her. Is that right? Like, there's just things that, like, even if you're not consciously thinking of that, like, that's always been under the surface with me when I watch that.
Yeah,
like,
it's like kind of weird. I'm like, ooh.
Like, obviously, and for all intents and purposes, she was a consenting adult. It's just the writers did this weird, like, oh, she had a shopper's blackout, which I'm going to be honest, I'm sure that's actually a thing.
Oh, I can believe it.
Any kind of addiction, if you're so far down the hole on something, I'm sure that you become unaware of other things around you. I actually know gamer friends who have been playing a game for so long, they've actually like lost out on some time or like forgot that somebody spoke to them or something like that. So I understand that kind of mentality, but like you said, it feels so forced and so out of place that it just takes away everything.
Like I would have loved like a better ending to me is so they have that kiss and they reel back and they're like, oh shit. And then the next will they won't they is, are they going to go in for a second kiss? Because then you're like, you see it on their face. They're all like, well, that wasn't that bad. Maybe I should go in for another one. And then maybe they get interrupted as they go in for a second kiss. And like the register lady comes in and then you're like, they like pretend that it never happened. And then as a viewer, I'm like, oh my God, I got to watch the next episode to see like, did that go anywhere or what's going on here?
I thought, oh, go ahead.
No. I feel like that's like as a viewer, I am more interested in that than let's go back to what we've always had for like these characters.
See, I thought you were going to go for, because there's like that counter space that she had like all the like the jewelry and such on. I thought you were going to say like the will they won't they would be like she pushes everything off of it, gets up and spreads her legs, and then
goes like, and he eats her pussy right and there.
Then, yes, exactly.
And then that guy's like, ha ha ha
ha. He was from Val's apartment. Could you imagine they invited him back the next week?
They're like, we really liked your laugh.
Could you come back? There's going to be a scene where Maxwell's about to eat some pussy, and we thought that your laugh would be the perfect thing to get right into that.
Oh my God. The fashion in these episodes, amazing. I liked it.
Love. I you know what? There's only one outfit I hate, and I hate it because I think the colors look so off, and it's that white jacket and skirt combo that has like the almost neon pink orange, and then the shoes are not the right color pink that match that, and then she's wearing white stockings, and it just looks so bad. I'm like, no.
So awful.
Maggie has the white stockings. Let her just wear white stockings. You don't need to wear white stockings. You have green and black and brown and blue and every other color. Red. I've seen you wear every other color under the sun. The white ones are not your look. Please just leave that.
Take it back, girl. I really liked that like red jacket towards the end of Shopaholics that she wears. And I really like
the ski outfit is one of my favorites.
The ski outfit is so cute. It's just so great. But I think like overall, I'm interested to see the direction of season 3. I think I'm interested more in Maxwell's character, just to see like how he reacts, how he reacts after these episodes that we just watched.
Okay.
If he'll do anything, but I think this further supports my theory of what's going to happen for this season. I think they are going to get in a relationship by the end of season 3. I think maybe season 4 we're going to consider like maybe a marriage. Okay. Of some sort, and then maybe season 5, season 6, we're gonna start talking about a kid. Like I think Fran's gonna get pregnant, and something's gonna happen there.
Preggers.
She's gonna get preggers, just like Danny's wife. That gossiping scene, love.
The gossiping between. So here's the thing, I didn't want to build it up this way, but both of these episodes are very LGBTQIA plus. Like,
Very,
you know what I mean? Like
very
there's
queer.
and that continues with the next episode as well.
Hell yeah. Give me more.
And so it's just like it's clearly the 90s way of trying to be inclusive, but also like not being inclusive because they're not actually including any gay characters on their show that are like.
Well, they had the special guest, not
The
Twiggy.
landlord.
What's the actor? He played.
Let me see if I can find it.
I also know him from Scary Movie, which is sad.
David Lander.
What is it?
David Lander.
David Lander, yes. I forgot the character that he played that he's known for.
I must bid you a doo-doo.
Yes. And I always Twiggy. So it was Twiggy. Okay, yeah. Oh, Squiggy. Okay. Yeah.
Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley, thank you. Oh my God. I remember watching Laverne and Shirley every so often with my grandma. Like she always had TV Land on. So I'd be watching like Laverne and Shirley and stuff like that. Shamil, Shemazel, whatever you say. Incorporated.
Yeah, it was so good.
What I wanted to say was give us more gay. I'm definitely here for it. Loved it. I thought the comedy in Val's apartment so fucking good for like that for like the 90s gays. They're like, yes, Judy Garland, slay bitch.
I'm like, yes. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
I love it. I want to give my MVP and LVP for Val's apartment. My MVP is probably going to go to Sylvia.
I knew it.
She fucking conned the hell out of them both, and I love it. I thought she was really funny in this episode. And my LVP is gonna go to Fran for being a shitty friend, and I think that's why I was considering giving it to both Maxwell and Fran for not being honest with each other, but at least with Maxwell's situation, he didn't leave someone out at an apartment. I don't know. That's just like
they never like this ever, but she definitely lives with her parents for like the rest of the season. So she had to go like back home, like so.
Poor girl.
Also, she was in a roach infested place, so maybe it was for the best.
Honestly, yeah. And that apartment was shitty. Like, oh God, I would hate to live there.
Studio apartment where you both had to sleep on a pull-out couch.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's not this pull-out couch.
It's true. How much do you think that apartment would have cost?
Back then? Okay. I think back then that apartment probably cost $700 a month.
Oh my
I think now it would cost, because I don't know where it is. That's also dependent. But it's
in a gay part of New York. So I don't know what's like the super gay part.
Well, I'm imagining it was probably like the Village area, but like kind of near Stonewall and everything. And so if it was that area, because this was before Hell's Kitchen really became like a gay living area, I'm going to go ahead and say nowadays it would probably, for a studio apartment like that, be between $1,300 and $1,500 a month.
That's not too bad. It's pretty shit, but compared to like I'm paying $1,300 now and I have a 3-bedroom apartment. So like
and all the amenities.
No roaches.
And no roaches.
No roaches. Yeah. But that is fascinating to me. For the second episode, sorry I keep saying for the second episode, my MVP is probably going to be Maxwell. I thought he was really great in this episode and trying to care for Fran, and he tried to help her out, and but only because the kids were like, I think she needs help. Yeah. But I do like that he stepped up and was like really trying to help her out, even going so far as to go to the store and try to find her. My LVP, I don't want to give it to Fran. My LVP would probably end up going to... It sucks because I don't think like any of the characters were bad.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were all funny. I think my issue is just the writing of this
That's true.
episode.
And that's legitimate.
I'm gonna give LVP to Cece.
Okay.
And here's why. I think this is a prime moment for Cece to be in these episodes more. And really, especially with the theming of the episode, for it to be about a shopaholic thing. Just a few funny one-liners here and there. Actually, no, fuck it. I can't give it to Cece. I'm getting the 2 episodes confused. I actually liked Cece in this episode. I don't know.
Maybe you should give it to Fran because she was written so poorly.
I'm going to give the LVP to the writers for
There
this
you go.
episode. Yeah. I'm going to give it to the writers because Fran deserves better, and so do the audience. The audience isn't stupid. We're okay with having character development. Stop being afraid of it. But yeah, LVP to the writers.
There we go.
So what are the next 2 episodes?
You're going to gag at the next episode's title. Are you ready?
Yeah. It's
called,
just the F word.
It's called Oy vey, you're gay.
Ooh, okay. So here's the episode. So Fran, because the theme is like trying to find a husband.
Mm-hmm.
So Fran meets this perfect guy. He is like the dreamboat, the kind of person that you really want to take home to mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes on a few dates with this guy, and she's like, he's taking things pretty slow, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm willing to work with him. He's gay, and so he thinks that they're just friends going out. But to her, she's like, oh my God, this is a romantic date. Like, we're having the best time ever. And everyone else in the family is like, he's gay, right? Like, we get it. She just doesn't get it. She's oblivious to the fact that this man is gay until eventually they end up going on a date that's clearly in a gay bar, that's clearly in a very gay situation. And then she finally has it click in her head. She's like, oh, fuck. God damn it. And then the episode ends with the gay guy giving her advice about trying to find a man, or it's okay to be single. You don't need to find a husband.
Not even remotely close.
Damn. I was hoping. I was like, I was saying it. I was like, I just want to see more gay characters. Damn it.
So this episode, I will tell you, is Maxwell oriented.
Oh, now I'm excited.
Yeah, and then episode 8 is called The Party's Over. I'm going to guarantee you don't get anywhere remotely near this, but if you do, I will Venmo you $50 right now.
Okay. The Party's Over. I am going to guess this is an age-based one.
Okay.
And it is an age-based one. So Party's Over, it has actually nothing to do with the party. I am going to assume that it is about her getting older. Like like she's not this 23-year-old girl that she always pretends to be.
Also, we found out this episode says she's 33.
Yes. I think what's going to happen is Fran is either going to hit maybe. She's going to have not a midlife crisis, but like her knees are going to start going out. She starts really worrying about her age. And that's kind of like the joke here. She's over exaggerating everything. She's like, oh my God, I see a wrinkle. Oh my God, Val, what do I do? And it's like them piggybacking off of each other about getting older. And then this is a moment where Maxwell and Fran have a moment where he's just like, stop worrying about it. You look great. Like, I don't understand what your hang up is. And they end up fucking at the end of the episode, hardcore in her ass. And then she pegs him.
Okay, so I guess I have to Venmo you
Yeah,
50.
very $50. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing like that.
Yeah.
The fucking in the ass part is correct.
Yes.
Could you imagine if they? I actually said that, and you were like, haha. And then, like, you turn on the episode, you're like, oh my God, Beth was not lying.
Oh my God, they are actually doing anal sex.
This episode was on Skinamax, actually. It was the old
Oh,
aired then. No, that's funny. No, so that one, the party's over. Definitely Fran centric though. So I'll give you that.
okay.
I will say this about Oy vey, you're gay. I
Yeah,
think it's a good episode, but I do think we have to remember it's the 90s.
of
And
course.
and I don't think a couple of jokes age super well, but I don't think that they're outright horribly offensive. I just think that they're off color, if that makes
I'm
sense.
gonna get offended.
Please.
Just kidding.
Yeah, no. Call me out on it though. If you were like, no, Beth, that was just fucking, whatever.
No,
But
I don't.
I think you're gonna like both episodes.
Okay.
But I will say, based off of your criticism from tonight, you might not like the parties over as much as I do.
Okay. Yeah, and it's again like if they write Fran dumb, I won't get too mad about it. Again, I understand it's like Lucille Ball of the 90s.
Yeah.
I think my big hang up was because the saving grace I was hoping was the story of the episode. And then that ending, I was just like, oh, well, I didn't really care for how they did Fran, and I also didn't care for the story now. So if the story's great, I think I'll enjoy it. And even dumb Fran is fun from time to time.
No,
like it's not a bad thing.
This isn't a bad show. Like, it's not like you were like throwing boo, tomato, tomato, like at the screen or anything like that. Like, it's a fun show to relax on a Sunday night with, your friend being stupid, like whatever.
Exactly.
But yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I think you'll like both of these shows. There are a couple weird episodes coming up for sure, though, that I'm looking at right now, and I'm like, oh God, I can't wait to get Dylan's thoughts on this. This is going to be interesting. I can't wait to get Nigel's thoughts too, but definitely yours. That'll be fun.
Hell yeah. I'm excited though. We'll be back here on Thursday with our lost coverage of episodes 3 and 4, which cannot wait to see Beth absolutely destroy, as she should, because what the fuck did we watch?
So to put this into context, y'all, we watched the episodes. We just never got to a place where we could record them. The one night we were both free, I ended up not feeling well and like literally went to bed at 8:30. So, and then like woke up at 11, was up for a couple of hours, and then went back to sleep. It was weird. Those 2 episodes are still haunting me because I haven't been able to talk about them. And I cannot wait to discuss them. So y'all will definitely want to check into the last episode that comes out on Thursday. And we will be back next Tuesday with episodes 7 and 8 of The Nanny. Oy vey, you're gay, and the party's over. You can find me at AugustaWind11 on all my social media handles. And if you want to talk about The Nanny, you can hit me up there.
Yeah, and you can check me out at 8-Bit Dylan on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all that jazz. I had a TikTok blow the fuck up today.
Really?
Has almost 700,000 views.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and it's the dumbest fucking TikTok. It's like me reacting to World War Z, the game.
What?
Yes.
You didn't come up on my FYP. That's so hateful.
Yeah, and well, speaking of hateful, several of the comments are about me being gay. So I think alt-right TikTok found my TikTok and was like, let's hop in it, sis, which is fine. I'm okay with. Give me the views.
Thanks for the engagement horrors.
But you can also go find us at Hot Mess Moments on Twitter if you want updates to all of our upcoming episodes, especially to know when new ones are coming out, or if we end up having to skip a week or whatever. And please make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out tremendously. So please check us out wherever you find your favorite podcasts, aka only Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because that's all we do outside of YouTube.
Here on YouTube.
Yes.
But lovely faces.
Exactly. But thank you all so much. We will see you on Thursday. And until then, stay awesome, stay beautiful, you lovely people. Bye.
Bye.